G'day guys, welcome back to the G-Man Show. I'm your host G-Man. Today we're looking at a video called Arson and Deadly Feuds, Australia's Tobacco War by Four Corners. Let's jump in.
I've been tracking the ship here on the ship tracker for 2 weeks as it's gone from Indonesia down the east coast of Australia. We can't see it yet. It's somewhere out there getting closer, but it's picking up speed.
The Mannies are on the way, boys.
A ship sails out of the mist and into Port Phillip Bay.
Ooh, they better stop those Mannies from coming in. That's tax revenue being lost right there, boys and girls. Ship full of Mannies. Good old Manchester Blues.
We've got intelligence there's a container carrying over $1 million worth of black market cigarettes on board.
Yeah.
Nationally, the illicit tobacco trade is worth billions.
They removed this piece of concealment coming through. We've got Manchester brand cigarettes.
It's fueling a fiery turf war as organised crime battles for profits.
We're averaging a couple of arsons a week. In my 30 years of policing, this is something unique.
That's it, man. Get the Middle Eastern gangs. They don't stuff around. This could all be avoided. I'm probably going to say this 10 times in this video. This can all be avoided if the government doesn't tax smoke so much. Cigarettes should not cost $40 for a pack of the for the pack of the cheapest 20s out there. I did my research. Parker Simpson, one of probably the cheaper brands out there, like your Long Beach, your Horizons, like $40 for a pack of 20. You got to be joking. These are Manchester cigarettes. They're anywhere from $10 to $15 for a pack of 20s, depending on where you buy them from. Do the math on that. Why would you not? Especially if they're so easy to get. I don't support smoking, but I think everyone has the right and the choice to do whatever they want. And if people are addicted to smoking cigarettes, or they just really enjoy smoking cigarettes, and they're being taxed up to the gills, I don't blame them for finding a supply somewhere else that's cheaper.
Well, we're up and down from Melbourne or come there to go to the shop.
That's it, mate.
Bringing death and destruction to Australia's streets.
People here are sick of fire bombings every second day, and it just gives the impression that law and order is out of control.
It's costing the federal government billions in lost taxes.
Hey!
That box got 50 in it, so that box there is worth $8,000.
And threatening decades of hard-won progress in the fight against...
Oh, no. They should do that with their... the Benson and Hedges there. Why are they getting rid of them? They're legit. The Mannies they should be throwing out. So why are they cracking down on it? Blatantly simple. The guy just said it. Billions of dollars in tax revenue. You can't let that happen. Ooh, revenue leakage. It's not about health. It's not about the crime. It's about the tax revenue that they're losing. Billions and billions of dollars a year that smokers have decided not to pay. They started to vote with their wallets. People say, well, that's illegal. You're doing things that are, you shouldn't be doing. They're not hard to get. You walk into any one of those shops, any tobacconist, a lot of even bottle shops out there, like legit ones, sell them. You go, do you have any Manchester Blues? They go, yep, bang. They're in open, broad daylight, no problem. It's not that hard to get, and you're hiding in the dark down an alleyway somewhere, and then you're driving 3 hours to meet at some remote beach car park somewhere, and he does a dead drop in the bushes, and then you leave the money somewhere, and then it's nothing like that. You walk straight in, go, yep, give me 3 packs of Mannies. Cheers, brother.
It's deadly tobacco.
The most hardline regime for cigarette packaging anywhere in the world.
This policy is perhaps one of the biggest failures in Australian history, really.
We uncover how the trade works, who's behind it, and if authorities can stop it.
Lucky this guy didn't set himself on fire. Look like a bit of a rough job he did there. You didn't even wait till he was out the window. Tobacco Wars.
grasp the monumental scale of the illicit tobacco problem in Australia, you have to see it at street level.
We
Hundreds.
didn't talk about that other problem just there. There was a dude in a neighbourhood strip shops lying on the road homeless, trying to get some shelter. Why don't we talk about that? Homelessness, why don't we try and stop that? Try and give people support when they're down and out in their darkest days. No, we're just trying to shut down cigarettes because we want the tax money.
Hundreds of stores flogging smuggled cigarettes to grateful customers.
So I'm here in Noble Park in Melbourne's southeastern suburbs.
Noble.
I spoke to some contacts in the industry, and they told me that there's an illicit tobacconist here that is probably one of the busiest and most lucrative in the state.
Or by inside contact. You don't need an inside contact. Walk into any independent smoke shop, you're getting mannies, no problem. And they'll probably talk about this why, because a lot of these shops are strong-armed into buying the mannies or the double happiness at wholesale prices and basically more or less forced to sell them. And then if they don't, their shop gets set on fire, like you just saw before. Hello, fellow smoker. I would like to buy some of your illegal cigarettes. He's surely going to walk in and say something like that.
Got a concealed camera in this coffee cup, so I'm going to head into this tobacconist now and see whether they're actually selling any illicit brands.
This isn't the first time I've been to this store. I know they sell an array of black market brands, Double Happiness, S, counterfeit Marlboros, and others.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks. Manchester Sapphires, please.
How many?
Just one pack, thanks.
Ceylon Special 13.
Sorry?
Ceylon Special 13.
Oh, good, okay, thanks. The black market has erupted across the country.
There is no shame in it because the police don't have the resources. Even if they wanted to shut this whole thing, they're not going to be able to. These people operate in plain sight. It's almost like the police don't even bother with going into these shops very often and trying to shut any of this down because another one just pops up. You take down one shop, probably closes for a bit, opens up, back to normal. Or another two shops, they pop up down the road. So it's always these unique, because I've bought mannies before. I've had mannies before. Easy to get. All these shops look exactly the same.
Police say out of 1,300 tobacconists in Victoria, 1,000 sell smuggled cigarettes.
$7 each. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night.
Thanks.
See you.
Oh, wow.
There are a lot of people in there, and they were charging $13 for a pack of Manchesters, which is the cheapest that I've seen, and is roughly a third the price of the cheapest pack you'd be able to buy at the supermarket.
Yeah, there you go. So do your maths. Oh, no, but guys, you need to do the right thing because they are a third of the price. Cigarettes would be a third of the price if they didn't have the 70% tax on them. Let's do the maths on it. Oh, it's for public health. It's for public health. And because people smoke, they're going to be a burden on the health system later in life. And that's why we're taxing them so heavily to cover that. Oh, yeah? I'm not seeing all the new hospitals being built with that money. Where's that going? $9 billion a year or 10, but whatever it is, that's a few huge hospitals. I'm not seeing them go up.
Watching this shop for days. A constant flow of customers goes in and out, carrying cartons of cigarettes, all paid for in cash. We got this tip and others from tobacco industry sources. It's staggering. Australia has world-leading tobacco controls, yet the black market is thriving in plain sight. The cheapest legal pack of 20 cigarettes costs you about $33. 30 of that goes to the government in tobacco tax or excise and GST. If you buy an illegal pack, it costs you on average $17. None of that goes to the government.
Good.
Morning. Can I get 20 Manchester Sapphires, please?
One?
Just one pack.
Oh,
For years, authorities were blinkered to the threat. Now, outpaced by the explosion of the illicit trade, they're scrambling to catch up. There's one...
No, it's just about the money. That's all it is.
One particular brand that seems to be everywhere. It's sold in stores across Australia.
Hello, thanks. Can I get 20 Manchester Sapphires, please? Do you have Manchester Sapphires? Manchester Sapphires, yeah.
Manchester Sapphire.
Yeah, just one pack, thanks.
The true size of Australia's tobacco black market is unknown, but the big tobacco companies say brands like Manchester are leading the pack.
I mean, as I said, I understand there needs to be tax on stuff, or the government wants to tax everything, but taxing something with 70% or 65% tariff on it, what do you think is going to happen? They have created this problem. Too greedy. It's like 10% a year, that tax goes up and up and up and up. It keeps going. People are addicts. They're going to get their supplies somewhere else. They don't give a shit if the government gets their tax, or if they buy them from Woolworths or Coles, or if they go down and buy them from this independent, Chinese-run local variety store or whatever they are. You're going to go get them. Give a shit.
So this small shopping strip in the southeast of Melbourne is just the perfect example of how prolific these illicit tobacconists are now. In the space of 50 metres, you've got one there, and one there, all selling illicit cigarettes.
And that's right. If they were serious about it, the cops would know straight away they're doing that and just shut them down, boom. But they're not.
Criminal gangs have been exploiting our regulatory failures, seizing on the massive profits and taking advantage of weak penalties. It's had devastating consequences on people's lives. Just after 2 a.m, 2 men firebombed a townhouse in Melbourne's outer west. Inside...
That's ruthless. Absolutely ruthless. Well, once again, the government has brought this to our doorstep. Now you got these gangs here doing all sorts of stuff, fighting for turf so they can make shitloads of money. I'd love to know the profit margin on a pack of Mannies. It must be big. If they're selling them for $13 and they're making a lot of money out of them, I wonder how much the actual packet itself costs to get here and bring in wholesale. Surely like $1 or $2 or something. Like next to nothing. If they can sell them for $13 and have a turf war over it.
27-year-old Katie Tangy, a performer with no links to illicit tobacco, was desperately calling 000.
Far out.
Just nothing short of a tragedy.
Firefighters arrived but couldn't save Katie.
It's probably her first time really away and by herself, house sitting for her brother who's on a honeymoon, and she's been subjected to the most appalling, despicable act one could imagine.
Yeah, these guys should be strung right up for that. So that was a case of mistaken identity. The girl was there house sitting and they've picked the wrong house, I think, and she copped it. Or maybe the brother was involved in it, who knows. But to my understanding, I think it was the wrong house.
Police say neither Katie nor her brother had any connection to the tobacco wars.
These offenders have targeted the wrong address.
Katie Tangy was the first innocent life lost, but there had already been several close calls. In January last year, a tobacco shop in Melbourne's outer north was set ablaze in the early hours of the morning.
There was little bits of sparking everywhere and it was flying straight into the house. There was just loud pops, and things flying everywhere. There was one stage, it was all kind of controlled, and then big things started popping up and flying in the sky.
A family was living in a unit at the back of the shop.
The younger kind of girl, she was our kid. She was just crying at the front. It was just devastating. It broke my heart because it was like, it's no longer just someone's shop, it's someone's house as well.
This was the latest.
You said it's on the news all the time. I think it's slowed down a little bit recently. I haven't been seeing all these reports, but there was a time there. I think this is about 3 or 4 months old. This video, hang on, 4 months old. It was it was a daily occurrence. There must have been something must have really flared up. There'd been a real tit for tat when it comes to turf wars. But I think, to my understanding, and I'll let it play for a bit. Now I'm stopping it to talk. I'm also stopping it because I don't want to get flagged by copyright. I did a recent video on the Smokes, the Mannies. SBS copyright claimed me. They let the video play, but they want all the money for the video. So SBS, get on SBS, came and stole like $50 off me. Well, cheers.
In a spate of fire bombings across Victorian streets.
In my 30 years of policing, this is something unique.
How many fire bombings are we up to date?
So we're over 120 arson attacks across Victoria. We're averaging a couple of arsons a week.
That is crazy. Got out, bro.
You know what they do? They literally take all the tax off cigarettes. Because money is the most important factor here. They're not going to take that tax away because now the government is reliant on that revenue stream. How do they stop this? They undercut these guys. That's how they stop the crime overnight goes away. These guys won't make any money because people will want to go the legit route and buy cigarettes from a place where they might not get in trouble for buying them and support crime and support the black market. But this will never happen because that revenue stream is now permanent. It increases year on year or every 6 months, whatever it is. It's always $1 more here and there on cigarettes. So just going up through the roof. That's now factored into all the budgeting, and that's a huge hole. It's a huge hole of revenue that will be gone if they decide to get rid of that to kill this crime wave. Won't happen though.
The wave of arson started spreading interstate, hitting Western Australia.
Absolute amateur hour there. I think they hire kids. Or people are just not directly involved to set these joints on fire. They don't know what they're bloody doing. It can blow their arm off.
Australia, Queensland, and engulfing South Australia too.
We had an offence of arson in July 2024. We then had one in August of 2024 as well. Between September to October, we then had 16 arsons.
The mayhem in Victoria is being driven by criminal syndicates, battling for control of the trade and settling personal scores. The Hadaras are said to have controlled Victoria's tobacco trade, with Fadi Hadara at the helm of a powerful criminal empire. Underworld boss Kaz Hamad is now fighting for control.
You're offering $2,000 a week and $100,000.
Four Corners geolocated his whereabouts in this video to Dira in Dubai, though he's virtually untouchable wherever he now is in the Middle East. Hamad has been paying foot soldiers to firebomb tobacco stores and extort shopkeepers.
I'm one of Kaz's boys. You've got 24 hours. If you're not out of here by the shop is going to get burnt down.
There you go, standover. They're pretty terrifying.
Aren't the only players. Tobacco is so lucrative, multiple syndicates have jumped into the game.
Certain syndicates were looking at forming a commission to control the pricing of illicit tobacco here in Victoria and nationally. We believe that formation of that commission didn't go well for the particular syndicates involved and that there was a falling out, and as I say, that has ended poorly.
2 months ago, champion boxer Sam the Punisher Abdul Rahim was executed in a Melbourne car park.
There's been a lot of this going on too. There's been some more recently. Sort of live by the sword, die by the sword, isn't it? It's sort of the lifestyle. You can make big money quick. This is a new sort of, drug dealing type stuff. You live life looking over your shoulder your whole life. So, people make these decisions to get fast money, quick money, or the thrill of the lifestyle. I don't know, but eventually it comes to get you. I'll I would hardly think that many of these guys get out of this alive, or without, being looking over their shoulder their entire life, not even enjoying your whole life. I don't know. It's not worth the money, in my opinion, but these guys, I guess they're all about it.
The latest casualty of the tobacco wars. The Punisher was a major player, and his death has brought relative quiet to the streets. But sources tell me the tobacco wars are far from over. How did smokers from Hobart to far north Queensland come to rely on Manchesters, turning them into one of Australia's most sought-after black market cigarettes?
The Mannies, I don't reckon they taste that great. They're very different. Who knows what's in them? I guess who knows what's in the ones that you're buying over the counter. But you do get used to them, the old Manny.
The story begins half a world away in a commercial hub in Dubai called Jebel Ali.
Jebel Ali is a free trade zone. A lot of the manufacturing of a product like this within Jebel Ali could very well be legal and licit.
Toledo Snickers is one of the world's foremost experts on the illicit tobacco trade. Manchesters are legally manufactured in and sold from Dubai, but then smuggled into Australia.
At the point of manufacture, it's difficult to seize them, it's difficult to detain them because they're not illegal. They're being manufactured quite legally. The difference is that they are being sold on the illicit market of a different country. So where they are sold, no duties are paid on them, no taxes are paid.
Oh, she loves it, does her, man. That's her private stash there, just a complete durry fiend.
On them.
Industry sources estimate there are around 20 factories producing up to 200 billion cigarettes flooding out of the UAE every year, right under the noses of the Emirati rulers.
Free trade zones do create investment opportunities. They do create significant job opportunities for any country. And I think particularly for a country like the UAE, where they need to start investing in a future where they might not be as oil rich as they are today. And so that's, a large part why it's so important to them.
I asked the Emirati government what they're doing to stem the flow of cigarettes from Jebel Ali, but they didn't respond. I've uncovered that the man who owns Manchester is an influential Syrian businessman operating out of a free trade zone in Dubai. Here he is meeting the Russian foreign minister. While he owns Manchester, there's no suggestion he smuggles cigarettes.
There you go. So what is it? So they're a legit business. However, the crime syndicates are bringing them in and selling them for next to nothing. All right, let's skip through a little bit. Let's go to crackdowns and raids. Why don't we have a watch of this segment? And if you guys want to watch this whole thing, it's interesting. I'm going to put the link in the video description, so go and check it out.
That has saved countless lives. Many in the public health community agree.
The question that you were repeatedly asking me is whether we should drop the excise, and I don't think we should.
Chapman's been fighting big tobacco for decades, and he's not finished yet. He argues that big tobacco companies have long worked to drive down the price of legal cigarettes by exaggerating the size of the black market.
Look, we got a principle in tobacco control which is called the scream test. Basically, this means that if you follow the media monitors and look at what the tobacco industry are saying about policies X, Y, Z, if they are screaming very loud, you know that that is a policy that is going to bite hard on their bottom line. And the things that they have screamed loudest about throughout my career are probably tax number one.
You have a deep...
They should be screaming about tax. I think the tax rate is 65 or 70%. Think about that. Think about how damaging it is from a pure business perspective, right? We're all adults here. They're not preying on anybody. They're selling a product that is harmful to most people. Some people have got iron lungs and bodies and never ever have any health side effects from smoking their whole life, but majority of people who are going to smoke are going to have a fair risk of having some sort of health issue, right? We all know that. People who've smoked, who continue to smoke, or previous smokers, you know what you're doing. You're not stupid. They're not preying on you in any way. So I can understand they've got a business to run. If they're getting taxed like that, what do you think's going to happen? Of course they're complaining about it. There's a huge multi-billion-dollar international cigarette manufacturing ring that's eating away all their profit. Of course they're going to complain. So as I said, policymakers not thinking about long-term consequences, and then when they're here, not doing anything about it. As I said, they could shut this down overnight. Basically, they just remove the excise. Happy days.
Deep-seated hatred of big tobacco. Do you think that risks blinding you, though, to what people are actually in good faith? And
look, I think people who look in the mirror and see what they're asking for is exactly the same as what big tobacco is asking for are political, useful idiots.
Until recently, there's been no coordinated crackdown on the illegal tobacco market. Police target the organised crime syndicates running the trade, but rarely shut down the retailers selling the cigarettes.
There you go. And then, you get these guys who get caught distributing, but another one pops up. It's like a hydro, cut one head off, another head appears. Too lucrative. It's worth the risk. One guy goes down, awesome. That's an opportunity for the next guy that was waiting for his break, and so on and so on. Same thing that's been happening with the drug trade forever. Ambitious people.
In most states, enforcement falls to local councils, public health officers, and consumer affairs, agencies never built to tackle a booming black market.
You have arrived.
Our mission is to attend the target premises and undertake inspections.
After 16 firebombings over 2 months in 2024, the South Australian government acted, ramping up law enforcement and legal penalties.
We really wanted to make sure here in South Australia we were killing it before it escalated.
Andrea Michaels is the South Australian Minister responsible for enforcing small business regulations and consumer affairs.
I was seeing in my own letterbox pamphlets being dropped about illegal illicit tobacco being sold. So we were getting reports like that from...
Okay, I'd love to know if they actually killed it or not. Any of you guys from here, what do you tell me? Can you still get the manis? Pretty sure you're going to be able to.
MPs right across the state of letterbox drops. It's really quite extraordinary.
Ms Michaels' government moved tobacco control away from public health. Now, consumer and business services officers, like these ones, are trying to bring down the 400 to 500 illicit tobacco shops that have spread across the state. On the outskirts of Adelaide, they're swooping on a small row of shops.
Do you have any cigarettes in your vehicle? Just have a look through. Any tobacco product?
Well, they're going to shut down one shop. Well done.
Cash.
Well, there's a big box here full of all different types of Manchester cigarettes and other brands, including Mick and what appear to be counterfeited Benson and Hedges. There's a box here. It's full of Chop Chop in Ziploc bags. And there are a whole bunch of illicit vapes here.
That's it. Got to shut the competition down, don't you, boys? Why don't you focus on stopping the distributors? Yeah, let's shut them down. That's what it is. Let's get them so we can get our tax.
You can see really faintly written here, tobacco vapes shop, and what appears to be like a pretty crude drawing of a vape here. I mean, if you went back over there and had a look at this shop, you would probably not have any idea what it was selling. It just goes to show, these shops are popping up. They're not even bothering to advertise what they're selling. They rely on word of mouth, and that's good enough.
Even while the raid is happening, the customers keep turning up.
Yeah, I wouldn't bother, mate. It's being raided by Consumer and Business Services. Were you wanting to buy cigarettes?
No, to buy some gift.
Some gifts?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just hit off.
Yeah, some gifts, some manis. Some double happiness action. Wow, you shut down one shop. Good on you, mate. I said, I don't support any of this shit. I just think it's funny, the effort they're going to. They're not making headwinds on anything. As I said, all created by the greed of taxation system.
Oh, you're not going to get any ciggies here today.
It's all right, he'll just drive to the next suburb and go to the other 45 places that we can get them.
So the Consumer and Business Services finished raiding this tobacconist, and there's a gentleman in the back room there. They've spoken to him. Apparently he's not being hugely cooperative. I'm going to go in there and have a chat with him, see if I can find out, maybe anything about who's running this place or who owns the business. No.
Of course he's not talking. Did you see what these guys do? They set the joints on fire and firebomb people's houses. Do you think he's going to just dob in the guys who are probably going to do that to him if he says anything? They're not even thinking straight.
Manager or owner of this?
No, the...
No?
Sorry, brother. No, the boss.
The boss?
Yeah, the boss, no.
Not here?
Not here.
The shopkeeper doesn't speak much English, but calls a friend to translate.
He's coming soon?
The friend, the English.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, he's asking me to translate.
Oh, sorry, who am I talking to?
Ali.
Oh, hi, Ali. My name's Dan. I'm a reporter from the ABC. We just want to know, is he the manager of the shop or does he...
He's asking if you guys don't take any photos because he's just looking after the shop.
Sure, okay. So I've just...
Yeah, as I said. So what this guy thinks he's super clever. They think they're so great. Well, there's some investigative reporting. I could have done this. I could walk down the street to 5 different places close to my house with my phone camera and say, yeah, I'm a reporter. I bought some manis. Whoop-de-doo, guys. You had a massive victory here. Well done. You shut down, you took a couple of $1,000 of smokes out of circulation. Well done.
Just spoken to the gentleman inside. He's saying that he only started work here 2 days ago. He had a phone conversation with someone he's referring to as the boss, who told him to come here and start work. He says he had no idea that, that the cigarettes he was selling were illicit. He doesn't know what's happening here today. He doesn't really want to comment on what's happened because he says he's only worked here for 2 days and he doesn't even really know who the boss is.
Straight after the raid, the shop remained open. We asked Minister Michaels why.
Toothless tigers can't do anything. That's why.
We saw a raid this morning, but the shop didn't even close after the CBS people left. Is that a problem?
That is one of the real issues, just the flagrant disregard of what the laws are. What we have done is put an amendment through which allows me to close stores for 72 hours, but I can also go to the Magistrates Court and get 6-month closure orders in the hope that really does, on top of the penalties, make these people think about what they're doing.
It's not. It's too much money. If they don't give a shit, they'll just go rent some other random joint and put the smokes in there. They don't care about your legislation and all of that. As I said, I don't support crime. I'm against crime. I think it's horrible and the people get hurt and businesses blown up and people, unfortunately, caught up in the crossfire like that lady at the start. I just think it's the way that they're portraying this is that this is the enemy of the people, right? And they're doing it for the people. They're trying to shut this down for the people. As I said, I'm going to say one more time, I'm going to end the video. Take the excise of cigarettes. You'll probably be able to sell them for $15 legit. This won't ever exist. The amount of people that will take the risk and go here will just go to zero. If you're a smoker and you're buying cigarettes for $13 instead of $40 or $45, it's worth the risk. There is no risk, really. What's the risk? Anyway, that's my thoughts today, guys. That's just a rant. Anyway, thanks for watching. Go watch the full video. Link in the video description. I skipped about 3/4 of it. Thanks a lot.